again to once again bring you tonight's formal part of the evening. We're hosting our 123rd annual Neepawa District Chamber AGM this evening, and our Neepawa Tourism AGM as well. We're very excited to be here with you face to face. Firstly, allow me to begin by expressing my gratitude to the First Peoples of Canada as the customary keepers and defenders of this land. Today we come together on Treaty 2 land, home of the Anishinaabe and the Métis people, and we give thanks for this opportunity to form community. We honor their long history of welcoming many nations to this beautiful territory and uphold and uplift the voice and values of our host nations. We respect and affirm the inherent and treaty rights of all Indigenous peoples across this land. We have and will continue to honor the commitments to self-determination and sovereignty we've made to the Indigenous nations and peoples. While acknowledging territory is very important to acknowledging our shared journey of truth and reconciliation, it is only a small part of cultivating strong relationships with Indigenous people. To get started, firstly, I'd like to thank our Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce Office Director, Jennifer Weeb. Yes! As well as our entire AGM committee, Alex Podredka, Christine Loomis, and Sherry Francis for organizing tonight's event. Thank you so very much. I'd also like to thank Pam Miller and MNP for support and preparation of the financials for tonight and for the budget for the AGM. Before we get started, and ask to please consider volunteering your time, expertise, and community connections with the Chamber of Commerce and Neepawa Tourism. Especially with the challenges of the last couple of years, our organizations need your help to continue to fundraise and support our community in new and exciting ways. I ask that you consider joining the board or a committee, such as our Fair Committee, to support each other through 2023. Thank you again for the wonderful meal, and let's start off the evening with our agenda. So first, a thank you to our sponsors. We have 3 general sponsors. We couldn't have been here without you tonight, so thank you so much to Taylor Law, to Neepawa Gladstone Co-op, and to High Life. Thank you so very much for your participation and partnership tonight. For our wine sponsors, a reminder, there's red and white on every table, so please let us know if you're interested in a glass of wine. But to our wine sponsors, we're extremely thankful to Neepawa Veterinary Clinic, Christensen TDS, the Neepawa Legion, and MNP. And to our additional AGM sponsors, Dairy Queen Neepawa, Emotions and Tea, and the Municipality of Rosedale. Thank you. So now I'm pleased to announce and to introduce our guest speaker for tonight. Rob Wolf grew up in Neepawa, then studied marketing and international business at the University of Western Sydney. He then received his MBA from the University of Newcastle. Rob lived and worked in China from 2004 to 2013 as management professor for Humber College, Toronto. He then moved back to Neepawa in 2013 with his wife and daughter for the position of assistant general manager at Northstar Seed. As he continued to excel in his role and career, Rob became general manager of DSV Northstar in 2022. Please join me in welcoming Rob Wolf from Northstar Seed.
Okay, well, relief number 1. Okay, well, thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you all for having me here, and again, thanks to the catering staff for a delicious meal. Now it's, I suppose, time for me to earn it. So I'm here, I was asked to come here today to talk about the Northstar Seed story. As was mentioned, I've been with the company for about 10 years now. And in my role, been able to get involved in most parts of the business and active with that. Now, of course, what's synonymous with boring is watching grass grow, and here I am, one of these people that's actually excited to see it. So my sincere wish is that you all do not find this perhaps as boring as you might anticipate. So a few things we'll just touch on: our early history, our expansion into contract production, wholesale, our Western Canada retail program, our exciting leaf cutter bees, and the new chapter that we're currently experiencing, and just the lessons we've learned along the way. So we were founded in 1982 here in Neepawa, but it was a group of 8 alfalfa seed producers. These alfalfa seed producers were kind of across the province, and they were gathered together because they were part of something revolutionary at the time, which was using leafcutter bees. And these leafcutter bees were used to pollinate alfalfa. As we've lost some of our natural pollinators, this was something even back then that we were dealing with. So this group of 8, Richard Nordell, Jim Lintott, Howard Smith, David Gislason, John Skinner, Wayne Cockle, Don Pollock, a local, as well as his cousin Jim Pollock. So that's the Neepawa connection. So specialty producers, pioneers in leafcutter bees, and to just let you know how brave these people were, they started the business in 1982 with interest rates at over 20%. And as a matter of fact, at the time the business was founded, the lawyer that was helping them along said, "Boy, you're a brave bunch. This is the first new company I founded in 2 years." So over time, the shareholder base expanded and the company began to grow. I believe it was run by Don Pollock in his farmhouse while he still continued to farm much through the 80s and into the early 90s. But as shareholders were added, including employees, seed cleaners, seed growers, dealers, people that were within our community and people that were part of our industry. So that was sort of where expansion came through in that. And we found that adding people from different areas of the business continued to expand what we knew about what we were doing. Early on, the expansion was international. As the group of alfalfa seed producers started growing and taking responsibility for what they were growing and thinking they were going to be able to do a better job of marketing it than what was being done for them, they quickly realized there was a lot of risk. And it would serve them well to diversify and spread this risk around. So the natural thing to do was to look abroad, to look elsewhere, because where the weather was prohibiting planting here, where crops were poor, they could at least spread things around and maybe find some export markets when the markets were worse locally. So they included contract production. As contacts were made, going to meetings in the United States and in Europe, meeting people that were in the industry, trying to break down some doors. And by the late 1980s, early 1990s, had established these relationships and started doing contract production. So this contract production was essentially where somebody wanted a variety of a grass or alfalfa produced. Then we would take on a contract, bring that contract back home, find a farmer somewhere here on the prairies that would then grow the product for us on another contract, and then we would take that and look after exporting it back and sending it to that customer. So markets we currently have been shipping seed to, at this point, are now spread throughout the world. We have major markets, of course, in Eastern Canada and wholesale, the United States, but also further afield, most countries in Europe, Czech Republic, Russia, China, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Argentina is an important market for us, Peru, Uruguay, Australia, New Zealand. It kind of spans the globe. And with that, of course, we experimented a few times with trying to get some boots on the ground in some of these places. So that included in Argentina, joining up with some partners for a production company in Argentina, trying to produce some seeds, which was ultimately a failed experiment. There was our partnership in an alfalfa seed breeding company in Argentina, and the reason why it's called Arauca was because Argentina, Australia, Canada. These were the countries the three partners were from. So we represented the Canadian side, where, believe it or not, we produced actually quite a lot of the alfalfa seed that was sent through Argentina through the years. And in addition to that, we also bought in 2012 a company in Michigan, Spink Seeds, and have been selling into there with our company, as well as another version of that company, a DBA called Preferred Alfalfa Genetics. On top of that international marketing to expand, we also broadened our horizons from the original alfalfa seed in through most grass species, cool and warm season grasses that can be produced here. Now I know what you're thinking here. Isn't it all just grass? Isn't it grass brand grass, like a big yellow bag that just says grassy? But there are many different types. There are the types for cows, forage grasses we use in hay pasture. There are grasses we use for turf. And there are different species for each of those depending on what your conditions are, what you want your lawn or your pasture to do. All these wonderful things that I will not bore you with. Welcome to come down and see me at the office if you'd like further explanation. But with that, it's given us some exciting opportunities to deal with people from, again, around the world and to have some interesting experiences. Did you know that turf seed produced here in Western Canada has been used on Olympic fields, has been used in the stadiums for World Cups, and that the prairies here in Canada is actually one of the largest and best grass seed production areas in the world. Now it's easy for that fact to get lost as we drive around in the sea of canola and wheat crops, but still this little industry chugs along, and we once or twice a year, all of us that work in it kind of fit together in one hotel and we get together and have some meetings. Of course, all of what we do isn't just focused on abroad. We also faithfully serve our customers here in Western Canada. We started a retail program dealing with various companies, various businesses. Everything from a small independent farmer that just is selling seeds locally off his farm, through to large ag retails, and everything in between. So from the time of just getting the first few shareholders that were maybe selling seed to their friends and people in their area, to now having close to about 300 locations across Western Canada that are selling North Star seed, as for the most part, and we also supply the in Alberta the UFA brand pro-stock forage. We started renting warehouse space in Calgary about 20 years ago, and then back in 2016, we, when the oil boom was at a bit of a pause, managed to find some people to build our warehouse and office space in Okotoks, just on the south of Calgary. And so, again, anything that's good tends to grow, and that's one of those things that we've done. So we've taken that program and really tried to build that by listening to what our customers are needing and trying to fulfill that. So for any of you folks that ever stop by Ag Days, welcome to come to our booth and say hi and have a look and see what we're up to. One other thing that we do is one of the things that brought us together in the first place, and that is our leaf cutter bees. And leaf cutter bees, if you're knowing anybody that's wanting to maybe come work for us at some point but is terrified of bees, it's okay. It's completely different to a honeybee. One, they don't tend to sting. And it doesn't really hurt that much if they do. It's more like a mosquito bite or a sharp pinch. On the other hand, they don't give you honey, so, you know. A little of both. But it is the best way to pollinate alfalfa that we know of. As we have lost, as I said, many of our natural pollinators, so that's one that we introduced. It's actually a European species, but we are able to use them here and reproduce them. We do get to overwinter them one time. We can't keep them twice, so when inventory is long, it is a fire sale. We need to use them. But they are used here. They're used in hybrid canola production. We actually sell them down into California. It can be used for pollinating blueberries. And with the global bee population, now we have actually started exporting them at times as well into places like France and Russia at other times, maybe less complicated than now. So currently, we're in a bit of a new chapter in our time. We had just celebrated 40 years here in business, and with many industries, the tendency is towards consolidation, growing, expanding, and continuing to build. And so it was last year that we were actually acquired by a German company, DSV, which I've been working at learning how to pronounce that name, which would be Deutsch Saatveredelung. Hopefully no Germans here to correct me. But yes, we were acquired then. They have been a customer of ours for over 30 years. We've been producing seed for them here locally, exporting back, buying some things that we can't produce here to sell in our cover crop program. So we were quite excited as those people that had started in 1982 were getting a little bit older, and families that they had weren't maybe as keen to take over the business, and it was a little bit more growth than anybody around in our business was able to just step up and kind of check for. So fortunately, DSV came along and said, we need to partner up. We're not doing much in North America, and that would be an ideal situation. So we were very fortunate to do that and be able to try and continue to grow the business. So we are now DSV North Star, to go along with their operations in Netherlands, France, Denmark, Poland, UK, Ukraine, and Argentina. So we're very happy with the growth that we've been able to achieve. We're very happy and fortunate to have the community support that we've had through the years. And this is actually from a promotional video that we made a couple of years ago. And these are some of the original founders that are still around, reminiscing and filling me with some of the stories that I'm able to somewhat share with you today. So, what were the lessons that were learned by these people over 40 years? Work with the best people you can find. And I think all of you will be able to understand that very, very easily. Learn wherever possible. You know, the fact was, these were 8 people that got together for no other reason than they both shared an interest in developing their leafcutter bees, something nobody knew anything about, and seeing if it would actually work. And so they learned from each other what processes would work, how could they get rid of their parasites and successfully reproduce them so they could use them again. And to show up, pack your suitcase and show up to a meeting where you know nobody and introduce yourself and say, hey, we've started a new company, maybe we can work together. And hopefully they speak back in the language you understand. take calculated risks when ready. Not all aspects of the business have succeeded, and as I've mentioned, but something was always learned in the process, and many successes were made from those risks taken. Don't forget your core competencies. This was one where we didn't go out, I think, and get involved in a lot of things we really knew nothing about just because it was the newest, hottest item out in the marketplace. Really, we expanded, but we expanded with the crops we knew or what was related to it, and gradually added things in. We stayed within our wheelhouse and in our core competencies, and for us it served us well. And finally, plan for growth. And again, anybody that's ever put up a warehouse knows that. However big you build it, it's not big enough. So with that, I would say thank you very much for your attention. I won't bore you anymore listening to how exciting it is for us to make grass grow. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Rob?
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
With population decline with the bees in the world, do the leafcutter bees have the same vulnerability to that?
The way that we would manage them, no. I mean, there are some vulnerabilities with parasites, but we're using them in a farming practice. So it's a little bit different because in nature, I would suspect yes. The way that we're managing those leafcutter bees, we're taking them out, they're out in, essentially we're starting with the larvae, they're actually wrapped in a leaf. And so those go out into trays, we've cooked them, we've warmed them up to start the incubation process, so they're basically coming out of those as soon as the alfalfa is flowering. So with that, they're out, they're pollinating, that will be the only, they'll have that generation and maybe another. They pack the nests, we have in there these big styrofoam blocks with holes drilled in them. They have their larvae wrapped in leaf, stuffed in there, and then those go back to us. And once we have them, through the winter, we take them, punch them out, process them, and we're either setting them up for us to use or selling them on into Alberta, California, East Coast, places like that. So we only get to overwinter them once. The larvae, they go one cycle, and pretty well the next one over. In our conditions, we can reproduce them. In California, it stays too warm, they just hatch, then they're done. So we're a little bit blessed, believe it or not today, we are a little bit blessed to live in a freezer sometimes, that there are certain things that we can accomplish that other places can't. So that's one of them.
Anyone else? Ken?
Yeah, where do you do the leaf cutter bee processing? Is it here or somewhere else?
It's here. Yeah, we process them here. That's one of the things we do with our warehouse space through the winter. So we do have a couple of, fortunately, somewhat heated rooms that we bring the temperature up in for our workers to do that processing. And then we have specialized equipment that's used just for punching out those blocks and processing. Like I said, preparing them for sale. And they look, honestly, like just rolled up little pieces of leaf. Where they get their name, leaf cutter bees. They go out and they pollinate the flowers, they pollinate the alfalfa seed, and they cut pieces of leaf, bring it back, roll up the eggs, and repeat.
So as you can see, we kind of have a getting back to grassroots theme going here tonight. And I'm really thankful, especially to the ladies that helped me put the AGM together, especially Sherry Francis, who was here all afternoon. She made so many decisions and was just fantastic, and Christine and Ali, who came to meetings too, and just thank you so much, ladies. So I have the privilege of announcing the Business of the Year Award, and I'm going to start by reading the letter of nomination. The Business of the Year Award, the nominee must be a member of good standing in the Neepawa Chamber of Commerce. They must have involvement in the community in our area. They must have demonstrated the following characteristics: innovative products or services, providing exemplary customer service, and encouraging and providing professional development for their staff. And this was the letter that I had received at the office for nomination. We're involved in the community and surrounding area. We have been a participant in the local chamber fair, participant in the 4-H programs, buying steers at every 4-H sale. I wonder who it could be. We always buy a client steer to support 4-H as well as our clients. We consistently participate in the career and preparation exploration program at the Rolling River School Division, as well as programs in the Beautiful Plains School Division. We have employed local students and given them skills and experience. We are very innovative here at the clinic. We've upgraded several pieces of medical equipment over the past year or so, and our new x-ray machines enable us to better diagnose patients. Our incinerator has been upgraded so that when the end of life comes for people's, when the end of life comes, we are able to get pets' remains back home sooner. Our blood machines allow us to diagnose a lot of issues in-house, which is better for our clients and their pets. Their customer service is second to none, and I concur. I've heard many good things. We often get compliments from our clients, and they go above and beyond. We offer in-house as well as outside training for staff, and staff is encouraged to participate in any training that is offered. And this was the letter and nomination supplied by Chris Inkster, and I'd like to thank her very much for nominating. And I would now like to present the Business of the Year Award for 2022 is Dr. Liz and the Neepawa Vet Clinic. Congratulations, and thank you for all you and all the people in the clinic do for Neepawa. Congratulations. Here, let's move this away so that we don't have a microphone in front of us. And if you want to share a few words.
This was a surprise to me. I didn't know that Chris had nominated us, and this is actually the first time I heard the nomination letter. So it was really sweet. Mentorship is a huge part of our industry, and so I think it's really important that we're out in the community doing things with locally, and then having students come in and work with us and spend time with us, and hopefully find that veterinary medicine is just wonderful and enjoying that profession. I can't do anything without my wonderful staff, so I thank them so much for everything that they do, and being here, and customer service is a huge part of all of that. So thank you very much for my staff. This is really, this is for us, not me. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, that was great. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, so we're gonna move into the formal program with the AGM, so give me a minute just to get my paperwork organized. I've got Jen's paperwork up here now. All right, I just teased you. Oh. All right. So once again, I'd like to just take a moment to thank our AGM sponsors. Thank you to High Life, Taylor Law, and Neepawa and Gladstone Co-op as our annual general meeting sponsors for today's evening. So now you can see on the screen here, we've got our formal agenda for the Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to move to the tourism AGM as well. So we've got a few things to cover off there, which is a different deck, of course. Bear with me. All right. So a reminder that any member of the Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce are eligible to make a motion, second a motion, and vote in favor or against for this portion of the evening for the Chamber AGM. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 8:13 p.m. In advance of today's meeting, the agenda was sent out as well as the minutes, so let's start with the agenda. May I ask for a motion to please accept the agenda for the AGM 2023? Pam Miller, thank you. A second to the motion to accept the agenda for the AGM for 2023, please. Brian, sorry, I saw you first. Brian Hedman, please. Any opposed? All in favor? Motion passed. And then the AGM minutes were also sent out. We had the 2022 AGM was held virtually, as you know, on January 31st, 2022. And Jennifer did provide the minutes. She also has copies, including, they're out? Okay.
Finances are on the tables, minutes can be emailed to you, they're also on the webpage.
So financials are on the tables? Okay, sorry, financials are on the tables and minutes can be sent out, etc. Please let us know, but they were sent out in advance, so I'm asking for a motion to accept the minutes from the 122nd Neepawa Chamber AGM for January 31st, 2022. Sherry, thank you. Someone to second the motion to approve the minutes? Marilyn, thank you. Any opposed? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passed. All right, now I'm going to just chat about a president's report here and just kind of highlight some of the things we did throughout the year. Bear with me. Okay, so this is the president's report portion. So first and foremost, I again like to thank Jennifer Weeb, our chamber director. I say that every single time. If you're on the board, you hear me say it a lot. We couldn't do this without her. She's been an incredible addition to our team, and we're so thankful. Yeah. She teases because she emails me a lot, and I go, to keep emailing, because otherwise I'd be doing it. But thank you. I really do appreciate you. But again, she's managed a challenging year again, and your work provides support to an advocacy for our business community in Neepawa and the surrounding area, so thank you so much. Again, I'd also like to thank our AGM committee, Jennifer Weeb, Sherry Francis, Christine Lewis, and Ali Pedrotka. It's wonderful to be back in person again. I can't highlight that enough, and you guys all made this possible, so thanks so much. The Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce once again faced a challenging year as COVID restrictions continued to impact our community early in the year and reverberated through 2022. However, we're very thankful to support our business community and bring a number of meaningful events this year. We kicked off the year with the 122nd Annual AGM in partnership with Neepawa Tourism. Though once again hosted virtually, we had approximately 30 participants join our virtual AGM, and we are very pleased to welcome Big Daddy Taz, an incredible comedian and motivational speaker. His humor brought light enthusiasm to our virtual AGM. Goodie bags from our local businesses and vendors were a warm gift to our participants. Through the summer months, we celebrated our local restaurants through our second annual restaurant showcase. With an increased participation from our restaurant community, this event was a huge success. Boston Pizza, Prairie Donaire, Farmery, Emotions Tea, and Chicken Chef participated, as well as Lola's Bakery, Dairy Queen, the Neepawa Golf and Country Club, and Roder's Bakery. Expanding this program to 9 restaurants in our community was a significant increase from the previous year, and we look forward to what 2023 Restaurant Showcase brings. In partnership with Neepawa Tourism, we hired a Green Team student to support the fair and events throughout the summer months. Lance was a great addition to the team, and we're thankful for the work he did for the Chamber and tourism in Neepawa. We are extremely excited to once again host the Neepawa District Chamber Fair. We brought back fan favorites including the Midway, Petting Zoo, pony rides, and the car show. We also increased our food trucks, which was a huge success. We partnered with Neepawa Minor Baseball to have a baseball tournament and the town of Neepawa to host a townwide garage sale. We also had face painting and balloons, bringing joy to many of our young participants. One of our biggest events of the weekend is the Ag Center Barn Social, and this year was once again so much fun. The band Clubbing Fraggles brought a great variety of music that had many folks up and dancing, and we're excited to have them back in 2023. The fair is not only one of our biggest fundraisers for the year, but a community event that makes Neepawa special. The fair brings dollars into our community, supporting our local businesses throughout the weekend, and partners with our membership to bring events and fun to our townspeople and others from the surrounding communities. But we really need volunteers to make this event a success and to continue to bring a fair to our community going forward. 2023 will see some changes to our fair, but I can't stress enough how much we need volunteers for our committee, the social, and throughout the weekend in order for the Chamber to continue to bring this event to our community. Please reach out to Jennifer to let her know how you'd like to support in 2023. Planning's already underway. 2022 saw an opportunity to host Business After 5 events. As you saw in the photos throughout dinner, we were very pleased to partner with Frozen Fire Studios and Christensen TDS this past year, as well Salvation Army Thrift Store hosted a Business After 5 and provided a tour of their incredible facility that supports hundreds of people in our community each and every day. The Neepawa District Chamber supported our community by hosting an electoral forum for the 2022 civic election. Thank you again to Amanda Nottingale for moderating the event and to the Neepawa Library for hosting. We were extremely pleased to host our first Parade of Lights in 3 years. Thank you to Kinley Thompson Chartered Accountants for once again hosting a free movie at the Roxy Theatre. Santa paid a visit and provided candy bags to the kids. And thank you to NACI's Life Skills Group for packaging these and to the Hope Group for distributing them. We had over 40 floats and wonderful feedback from our community, especially after a few years without this event. In late fall, we partnered with the Neepawa Banner and Press and celebrated hometown shopping for the holidays. The Chamber provided $2,000 in funding to support our local businesses with their advertising for a holiday Shop Local campaign. Jennifer represented the Neepawa Chamber and our community at Chamber Advocacy Day at the Manitoba Legislature. A full day of learning and discussion with chambers from across the province, and she represented our community well. Neepawa was a focus of the conversation, including our continued population and community growth, the new hospital, and our newcomer support. We were excited to update our Neepawa District Chamber of Commerce brand and logo this year, aligning our branding with the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce and chambers throughout the Manitoba communities. Thank you to Jennifer for your work and partnership with the Manitoba Chamber to update our logo on all of our communications, social media, and community advertising. We look forward to the year ahead and hope you will consider joining the Chamber Board or a committee to enhance our program through fundraising initiatives and activities in our community. Please reach out to myself or Jennifer if you're interested, when you're interested in getting involved. Thank you for joining us for the evening and your continued support and partnership in 2023. Now we'll move into the financials, and I'll just ask Pam to join us. Thanks again to Pam and M&P for helping support the financial aspect of today's event.
Thanks, Carrie. Good evening. So, probably the next most enjoyable thing after watching grass grow is going line by line through financial statements. Welcome to my life. Before I start going through these, M&P has assisted somewhat in bookkeeping, but we have not performed a review or an audit of these financials in any way. So we'll start with the basically profit and loss here. Like I said, I'm not going line by line, but if you look at our total income this year of $60,677 compared to, I don't have comparatives for the prior year, but we had budgeted $28,280. When we set out the budget last year at this time, it was uncertain yet whether the fair would be able to proceed, so we went ahead without budgeting for the fair. And obviously, it makes a bit of a difference. Some of the big increases that you'll see are in our membership fees. They're over our budget by $857. The sponsorship, that's fair. is over what we had budgeted by about $10,000. The fair itself brought in $16,000. And then we also had applied for and received the summer student grant in conjunction with the tourism, which resulted in $4,800 of funds coming into the organization. As far as expenses go, one of our biggest expenses, and the one we could not be without, is our wages. And we are actually slightly in the budget on that one, but we're hoping to rectify that this year. And then again, fair costs are included, parade expenses, and our total expenses were $61,792 compared to our budget of $40,715. Reiterating again that the fair expenses were not budgeted to begin with. One thing that is included on our profit and loss more as a cash flow thing is the chamber bucks, and really those are in and out. So when you see the chamber bucks income, that's really money we've received in exchange for chamber bucks vouchers. And then under the expenses, the chamber or Neepawa bucks expense is really when we're reimbursing the stores that have redeemed them. So it's not really income and expense, it's a cash flow thing. The statements reflect net income or a net loss actually of about $1,100, but when we remove the effect of the chamber bucks, we really had net profit of $4,980. Our balance sheet this year, total assets is total cash is $11,293. That includes our operating accounts of $6,293 and savings account that was established by the town of Neepawa, $5,000. We have yet to have to touch that to help an event go ahead. It's basically a buffer there that if we need the funds to get something going, it can be used and then replenished. Accounts receivable at the end of the year is some sponsorship amounts that were pledged to us for this event. Yes. And liabilities are minimal. There's some accounts payable, and we have a prepaid credit card there that's used for regular operations. But otherwise, we have net assets, which is called equity by these financial statements, of $15,618. I move that the financial statements are adopted as presented. We'll need someone to second.
Sharon.
Is there any questions or discussion?
Any opposed? All in favor? Financials accepted.
Thank you. Moving on to the budget, it's a little bit difficult to see it when we can't compare it to what's actually happened in the past year. Basically, we looked at our actual income for 2022 and we budgeted for some increases. So we're looking at budgeting for a total income of $63,800 and total expenses of $63,730 for, we're aiming for a break even anyways. Profit is always appreciated. Again, I'm not going to go through these line by line. There are copies in your handouts. And I make a motion to accept the budget as presented.
Seconded by Jordan. Any questions, discussion? Any opposed? All in favor? Budget accepted.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much, appreciate it. And to Jennifer, all the work you did to get that ready, of course, and Pam for your oversight, much appreciated. All right, so now we're going to move on to the appointment of directors. I have some things to read out here. I read the nomination, call for nominations first, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to do a call for nominations from the floor. We do that 3 times. We have returning board members and a new board member that's joining us that would like to join us, but firstly, let's do the call for nominations. So firstly, I'd like to make a call for nominations from the floor for the board for the Neepawa and District Chamber of Commerce. A second call for nominations from the floor. A third and final call for nominations from the floor. Nominations are now closed, and I will present to the members of the board. If you'd like to come up, please, if I call your name, if you're a board member, we will be swearing in the oath of office following this. So I'm returning as past president, Carrie McPherson, RBC Royal Bank, Cam Miller, NMP, Marilyn Curry, DO Town of Neepawa, Ken Waddell, Neepawa Banner Press, Christine Loomis, Strike Credit Union, Jordan Highlight. How do I say that? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I forgot to ask you. Lahoe, Jordan Lahoe. Thank you. Ali Grepka. Am I getting that fairly close? Okay. I asked her before on that one, and so Kawaki and Gladstone. Jeff Descender, Frozen Fire Studios is absent. Yep. Sherry Francis Christensen, TDS. And we'll be welcoming a new board member who fell sick, as many of us did. Kay Menzel, RBC Royal Bank of Neepawa. And I'd like to call up Mayor Brian Headley to read out the oath of office.
All right, if you would like to repeat after me. I swear that I will faithfully and truly perform my duty as the Director of Neepawa and District Chamber of Commerce. And that I will promote the objects for which the said chamber was constituted according to the true intent and meaning of the same. So help me God.
Brian, I forgot to say, if you'd like to come up and say a few words, I know you wanted to say a few words, I meant for you to say up here, my apologies.
Actually, it was, excuse me, it was Ken that told me to always be prepared to say something, and if you see a parade, get out in front of it. Yeah, I've only been run over once so far. Yeah, just a few things that I wanted to mention. Jennifer came to our Rotary group last week and talked about some of the things that the Chamber had been doing. And you know, it made me remember, I had forgotten, it's hard to believe that we were locked down. You know, Tanya and I went to the fair in the springtime there, and we had the greatest time. It was so exciting just going out and watching the little tiny kids on those rides. I bet you we spent about an hour and a half just watching kids. So after 2 years of being locked down like that, you know, the excitement that the whole community had, it was a great weekend. I really enjoyed that. So I congratulate the group on that. And you know, with all, you know, as you look into the media, with all the negative stuff that you see, it's easy to get caught up, especially watching the news at night. It's easy to get caught up with how much terrible stuff is going on in the world. But you know, if you turn around and take a look at our community, what an exciting time to be living in Neepawa or to be running a business in Neepawa. You look at all the housing developments, all the announcements, the townhouses out on the CN property, the apartments downtown, new businesses opening, renovated businesses, and again, through all of this, oh, and of course, our hospital and Dr. Ong is here again with us tonight, that we are ever thankful for his work in that area, but also for a lot of the leaders in the community. And the Chamber has been instrumental. They have worked tirelessly along with the tourism, promoting the community, and it's just an exciting time. And so thank you to the Chamber. We appreciate the work that you have done. We've worked very closely with the town, and we really enjoy the advocacy that you do on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so that wraps up the AGM for the Chamber. I'm calling the meeting to a close at 8:34.